Afternoon, this is Elvis with Buck Creek Bushcraft. Today, what I'd like to discuss is how to start fire using the bow drill method. Now, the bow drill method is the easiest and most effective way to start friction fires. That being said, friction fires are not easy, and they never will be. You know, even the masters choke from time to time. Just keep that in mind. Now, a couple tips and tricks is you want to use softwoods for your hearthboard and spindle. Some softwoods are, cedar, tulip poplar, poplar, cottonwood, basswood, sycamore, cypress, yucca. Those are all softwoods that work very, very well. If you don't know if the wood is softwood or not, you can take your thumbnail and push it in the wood. If it leaves an indentation, it's probably a softwood and it should work. Now, your bow, you want it from armpit to fingertip in length. With a longer bow, you get more rotations and more RPMs, and you lose less heat because you're changing directions less frequently. Also, you don't want your bow too thick or too heavy. I like mine about as thick as my thumb, maybe a little bit thicker, because with a heavier bow, it'll wear your arm out a lot quicker. You want it with no flex, and you want a curve in it like this one has. I use paracord for all my bowstrings. On the bottom, I just cut a slit with a saw, feed a line through it, tension it and tie it off as needed. And this is the simplest of all the components. Very, very simple. Now your spindle, this one's made out of poplar. You want it about thumb thickness. You want it 8 or 10 inches long. I like mine from elbow to wrist in length. This one's obviously way short because I've used it several times. You want long taper at the top to reduce friction, maybe 1.5 inches of taper. You want blunt on the bottom to maximize friction. And you want it fairly rounded so it's not wobbling and stuff when you're drilling. Now, your bearing block is your hardest component to make. I prefer bearing blocks that I've made or purchased. This bearing block is a metal one that I purchased. This is an antler with a hole drill into it. And this is just a rock with a hole drill into it. And these are pretty much frictionless. They make everything a lot easier. If you're going to use a wooden bearing block, you need to find a green hardwood like Osage orange or hickory or oak, and those will work very well. You can also lubricate the holes with leaves or some type of oil or anything like that. And you want to keep your indentions very shallow. Don't get too deep because they will shoulder out and your spindle will be very hard to turn, and it becomes hard to bow with that. There's two types of hearthboards commonly used. You have the 2-hole method shown here and the classic V-notch method here. This method is the first method I ever got a friction fire bow drill with. Basically, you drill a hole here, go next to it, drill another hole. You cut a channel connecting the two. You'll drill in this hole and your ember collecting the other hole. This has advantages if the ground is wet, or if there's snow on the ground, or if it's windy. It protects your ember a lot better. And I prefer cedar for all my bow drill components, but today I'm going to be using poplar. Now you don't want your fireboard too long. If it's too long, it'll teeter-totter when you step on it. One side will lift up. So keep them fairly short, and you want them about as thick as your thumb, maybe 1/2 inch or so. And you want your notch to go just shy of the center, because as you drill, your hole will expand and your notch will get deeper into your hole. So make it just shy of the center, and you want to make sure it's centered. You want to make sure your notch is not offset to the left or to the right. And you want your notch about 1/6 of the hole. Also, you want to put your hole about a spindle's length away from the edge. You don't want to put it too far from the edge because then it'll pop out. So put it about a spindle length away from the edge of the board. and if the ground is wet, you don't want to lay your spindle or your harsh board on the ground because it'll absorb moisture and it'll keep you from getting a fire going. Right now I have a bag underneath my harsh board to keep from absorbing moisture. So don't lay your spindle or harsh board on wet ground. If the bottom of your foot is wet, then you can put a plank or a board on top of your fireboard and step on that to keep from putting moisture on top of your fireboard. Now, if you want to step on your fireboard, you're going to put the crook of your foot right next to your hole. When you string your bow, you're going to come up and turn down. And you want your string in the middle of your spindle, and you want your spindle on the outside of the string. Now you want to lock your wrist into your shin so it's very stable. You want to have this leg pretty much straight up and down, and your opposite leg you want it directly behind the foot that's on the fireboard. So when you're bowing, you're not hitting this leg. You want to lock your arm and stay upright. You don't want to hunch over like this. You want to lock your elbow the way you put a lot of force down on the spindle. And with a skinnier fireboard, it's easier to get a fire going because your ember has to fall a shorter distance to collect and heat up. When you're bowing, you'll keep the bow parallel to the ground. You don't want to tilt it up because your string will go up the spindle. If you tilt it down, your string will go down the spindle. And when you're bowing, you want to use the full length of the bow. Start out smooth, long strokes. Because they don't do no good to go real fast right off the bat, because until you feel this notch up with dust, and that dust starts to touch your ember, your spindle, that's when you get an ember. So we'll give us a try real quick. You can grab the line here and tension it if it starts to slip. So you want to stop carefully. Take off the fireboard very easily. Tap your ember out. We got an ember, but it's motoring on its own. And now you'll take your time. Don't rush. If you rush, you'll blow your ember everywhere. You want to burn, and it'll coagulate into a ball. A tight ball that's very, very stable. You make sure you already have your tinder bundle ready, and you want it to be thick and dense. If it's too coarse, it'll just fall through, break apart, and go out. Also, when you put your ember in your bird nest, you want to cup it around it so it has little room, so it heats up all the walls easier. So we're going to gently put this in our bird nest. Make sure we get all of our dust. You want to cup your bird nest around the ember so it heats up all the walls of the bird nest. You want to turn your bird nest upside down because fire likes to climb. So that's how to start fire with a bow drill. I appreciate your views. Thanks for watching.